States. He's also an English language novelist. His novel, The Autobiography of a Mad Nation, was longlisted for the Man Asian Literary Prize in 2009. Starting his career as a journalist, Starting his career as a journalist, he worked with the Indian Express, focused on business news. He has served as columnist for The Hindu and contributed to pieces in The Guardian, in addition to blogging in connection with the New York Times. He has also written extensively on public interest, social trends, political analysis, city life, education and careers, satire, as well as reviewed books and movies. Thank you, sir, for being with us. I now request you to take over the session.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you. Professor Steve, thank you for this opportunity. Mr. Bassett from the consulate, and to the many excellent alums and people running this program. I know Corina and Sudhakar Garg, so a pleasure to be here. Personally know some of you, and also chance to be part of Alana's concluding phase of the session. Normally, whenever I'm asked, and thank you, Megha, for the lovely introduction. Whenever you're asked to be part of a session where you have to give a speech, or much less so a class, and on which you know nothing about, it's frightening slightly. It's even more a cause for making you nervous when you see that you'll have to speak after somebody like Alana. The good thing was when I came and I realized she's covered everything. So next 1 hour, my job is to just kind of entertain you and prepare you for the most important session, which will be lunch after this kind of thing. So Bassett, messaged me and said, you have to speak on this topic. I was wondering what it means actually. And I must confess that it makes me giddy that I'm in the presence of Corina and Sudhakar, and who are experts in this, who've been, part of global workshops. And I really am pretty clueless. So I'll rephrase this for the next 1 hour or so that we will talk. In a way, I understand. And I'm puzzled by this question very, very deeply. Why should media speak the truth? I haven't found an answer. Why should media tell the truth? I mean, I don't know. Nobody has told me why. He's just assumed we have to speak the truth, truth. What is the truth? Nobody knows. Whose truth? What lie? So I share my experiences, inspired by the father of the nation, who I think is the only person in human history used the word experiment next to it. All great people before Gandhiji and after Gandhiji knew the truth. They told you the truth. They told you this is the truth, that is the truth. Here is the only person who said, I have no idea what is the truth. I don't know. I'll experiment. Experiment like a scientist, like a little boy or girl you send to chemistry class and give them a few chemicals, they mix something, something happens, he wants to observe what happened. I'll also make this session interesting by telling you now that I will tell you 3 lies in the next 60 minutes during my speech. I want to see if any of you can fact check and catch me. So if you catch me while I'm speaking, raise your hand, shout, make hell, make it impossible for me to proceed. Catch my 3 lies in the next 60 minutes. So that should be, I know it'll be very easy if you are doing it for Narendra Modi or KCR or Jagan Mohan Reddy or Chandrababu or Stalin or Mamta. It'll be very easy. 3 minutes, your job is done. But today I was thinking about liars more than people who speak the truth. Have you heard about this person called F.E. Lionel? Anyone? F.E. Lionel. Don't Google it. You won't find it on Google because there is no such person. I just created him. So first, I call him Flat Earth Lionel. Flat Earth Lionel. Lionel because the word lie is there in the syllable of pronunciation, no other reason. F and E stand for Flat Earth. We all know about Galileo. We all know about Copernicus. These two great scientists were icons of human history, martyrs of speaking truth. Everybody on earth believed the earth is flat. So I created this character called F.E. Lionel. Who was the first guy who told people earth is flat? Sorry? Sorry? We all know who told you the earth is round. It's the guy who spoke the truth, unpopular truth. And you know what happened to him. Now, this is the reason I ask you, why should you speak the truth? Because telling lies has so many benefits. The first of telling a lie is people in power love you. I mean, if you're willing to say Namaste Anna on Twitter, you know how much love there is for you. If you, and all of you work in television, most of you. I mean, you guys make us feel good in the print because everywhere we go, people say, print kente na koncham credibility migilundane. At TV well like there. So you guys make us feel good. So very grateful to you. On behalf of all print media, I thank all of you electronic media people. You make us look nicer. We may not be, but people think like that. The point is, lies will give you a lot of practical benefits. Let's establish it. Your bosses will tell you tomorrow, Mungodello sentiment patra, you will say, sorry, candidate popular, have that. Make the other guy win and you'll be loved. If you say, survey march, right? What is this one column name change, whatever. It's easy. It'll get you promotions, it'll get you followers on Twitter. Alana told you, you'll get a lot of followers if you tell the truth. If you tell the lie, you will get far more followership. You will get a lot of affection, a lot of love. You will get awards, especially government-sponsored Best Journalist Awards. We have them, and so on and so forth. Now go back to F.E. Lionel, the guy who said the earth is flat. Everybody on earth believed him. Kings believed him. Institutions believed him. And one person came and said, and this is how truth sounds. He came and said, all of you are idiots and wrong. All of you are idiots. None of you know nothing. You are all stupid. The earth is not flat. It's round. And the earth is not at the center. There is no such thing as a earth system. There's something called solar system. Sun is at the middle of this whole thing. It's a little harder to speak the truth than tell a lie. And lies that are popular are even more fascinating. So I have some friends in television industry, obviously, in the television news industry. We all need friends, TV news, because you never know when you need them. So, especially if you have to tamper with the scrolls and all that, you better have friends. So, I have asked a lot of my Telugu news TV channel friends and also national. Why don't you interview me someday as Goebbels? I've read a lot about Goebbels. I'm willing to interview Goebbels and get him to interview him. Why is says fool all the people all the time? We have to understand that if you want to even get to the point of technique of how to lie. And therefore, from the point of time when somebody said Earth is flat, and that was so popular a view for so long, and then you have somebody who says the Earth is round, and all of you please read the biographies of both Copernicus and Galileo to understand the price they paid. The price you pay when you start telling the truth. There's a very interesting movie played by this extraordinary comedian that. Sorry? Jim Carrey I had in mind, but that's because my name is Sriram Curry and Carrey and Curry look like the Indian and American cousins. But yes, it's there in Hindi, Telugu, etc. See, whatever good English movie is there will soon come in Hindi, like Lal Singh Chadda, So that'll happen. So you can see whichever version you like. But if now Jim Carrey, yes, all he says is, one day can you speak the truth? So I will ask all of you to do this exercise for me today when you go back home. If you're honest about the mission of yours on this planet Earth, from now to the last day of your life, which may be day after tomorrow or 1,000 years later, ask yourself what are the 5 lies you tell most frequently. Don't tell anybody, just write it down. We all tell lies. I'm sure there's nobody here who says I'm embedded to the cause of truth so strongly forever. We all tell lies. The best lie I told Basit just now. He called me, where are you? 10 o'clock, the session is starting. I said, just 5 minutes. You heard that? I was at Kondapur. And I said, I'm at Tarnaka. So, it begins like that. The day begins with a lie. Lies are convenient. They make life easy. We all know the other person is lying. I'm lies in office. Every morning I get messages from my colleagues. Can I get a leave? I have stomach pain. I have, then you're, of course, a parent or a spouse. And the lies right down till you go to sleep. So the lies everywhere. We live in a universe. And then we're looking for that elusive truth. The elusive truth speaker. Somebody will stand up and say, this is wrong, etc. Did any one of you get any lies so far? Fact check. So far, everything I said, you believed everything I said? Oh, well, get your... Sorry?
Sorry, including the fact that you said you are in Kodak.
Yeah, possibly. But the problem with that is establishing. I'll give you a very definite lie. So go back and make your own fact versus lie profile for yourself. It's a very important question. See, this is not a small battle of Twitter, Instagram, or did it rain 8 centimeters versus 9 millimeters, or did Modi say this in 2013, or did KCR say 11% or 14%? This is not about just, though that is the truth. That is how truth is broken down into a million facts. But ask yourself, do you really want to be a more truthful human being to begin with before you're a more truthful person? Because it's not possible that you are a liar in personal life and a very, very big crusader for truth in the moment you walk into office. Very unlikely to happen. So write down the lies you tell and see if you'd like to slowly start walking away from it. How many truths can you even accept? And at what point of time do you want to believe in lies? Now, the question is not therefore about, as Rajeshwari did point out, what this is what people say harmless lie. I don't believe any lie is harmless, but let's leave it for a minute and talk about the larger reason why you are all here. And that is, and I did invoke Goebbels. I mean, everybody talks about Goebbels, Pracharam, Vinuntarandaram. Organized lies. So it's not about a lie, which I say that I'm in Tarnaka when I'm in Kondapur or something like, or I'm having stomachache, when actually the reason I want to leave from work today is I want to watch a movie on OTT. Or I saw it last night and I'm having a headache. So one of the things I've done at Deccan Chronicle, I'm very truthfully confessed, is I've told people, I will give you leave if you say I want to have a beer party with my friends for the next 2 days. Please say it. But don't say I'm having pain in my leg. It took a while for people to accept. Now I don't know if I made a mistake because I hear all kinds of... I met someone on Tinder and I'd like a leave today. Well, I say, okay, go ahead, take the leave. So, but we're able to... and I tell you why. It's important if my team and I don't tell each other small truths. I don't think I can trust them to tell me big truths about exposing land scans or contracts. There's a sense of faith you need even at a very basic level. But the issues of organized lying. What is an organized lie? Who organizes these lies? What are the benefits they get and why they can cause much greater harm? So one of the things I've felt, and I'm saying it only in the context of India, though I believe maybe it's a human condition truth applicable to every part of the world at every point of time, is of right and wrong. Not just true and lie, but right and wrong. What is right? What is good? These are the questions for which Socrates was asked to drink the hemlock, the poison, and die. And Socrates spoke truth, which was inconvenient. Now, since that time till today, whatever be the form, monarch, military dictator, democratically elected chief minister, sarpanch, apartment building general secretary, every person in power create a myth, loves to create a myth that they are something bigger, better, superior, and some ideas are better, some ideas are not good. The crux of why organized lying, denial of facts, of deviating from absolute factual accuracy, there is a purpose to it, and that is this. Most common people decide on good and bad by a factor called shock. Factor called shock. Shock value and a padam vinunta. So somewhere all our lives, we believe what shocks us is not good. Simple. That's all there is to it. For example, if you had, in the small town I was born in central India in the 70s, there was a news somewhere, or somebody said this, that clerk got caught taking a bribe of 200 rupees. It would have shocked everybody in the town. 200 rupees bribe, the whole town would have been shocked. People would have wanted to avoid those people. People would have looked down upon that. Family would have felt shame walking out, shock. Everybody would have been shocked. So essentially, the morality as practiced individually and at the larger collective ethical viewpoint everybody had was, taking a bribe is wrong. Some people did it, some people did not. That's not the point. But those who did it thought it was wrong. They would do it secretly. They would hide and they never wanted it to come out. So the crux of right and wrong was decided by public opinion, and the response to the bad was shock. I will ask you today, tomorrow if Deccan Chronicle or any of your TV channels had a headline saying revenue officer, income tax officer, police officer caught taking a bribe of 10 lakhs, what do you think? Who do you think will be shocked? Will anybody be shocked? It will be boring. Nobody will even click if it's a clickbait news. Now the shock comes from numbers. 50 lakhs, I know, 50 crores, so maybe you have a chance to make it to the news. So if you are a corrupt officer and wants to make it to news, make sure the bribe amount is really big. You know, the Anti-Corruption Bureau keeps sending all of us press releases. They got somebody with 10,000 rupees. I feel like laughing. Seriously. 10,000 rupees bribe somebody took. And what kind of idiot is that? 10,000 sigguledaya, 10,000 rupayala. That's how we have come. So the point is, taking bribe, is it right or wrong, is one aspect. How do people react to it? People had shock. Now we're no longer shocked. It's not like legally we have changed from a position of saying taking bribe is wrong to accept making it right. So point is, this is normalization. So people have, over a period of time, numbed your sense of shock, of outrage. Now you say, okay, you know, you talk about corruption in election, pre-election season. Now we'll all go to Mungodu, like I said. You ask people in luncheon discount, I in luncheon discount, it's become normal, no longer shocks you. So normalizing of bad, making it good, is possible through a series of lies over a period of time. There were no fact checkers when somebody first time said, okay, everybody takes. Why is it right? Somebody should have questioned them there. Nobody questioned. This is how lies become, organized lies become a threat to society. Today, you cannot expose corruption and shock people. Today, no politician can be defeated on the basis of corruption at all. So all of them know there is an absolute license to be corrupt. This has happened because India did not have fact checks. Now, this is an easier example to deal with, corruption. There's also a positive side to it. I'll tell you the positive side. Just go and watch the movie clippings of Telugu movies, Hindi movies from the 70s, 80s. And see how the dialogues used to be about women. It'll be very interesting. Today, I assume most of you would have a reasonably very confident, assertive, feminist viewpoint. If you see the movies of 70s and 80s, I mean, somebody will point out to me that what about Arjun Reddy 3 years ago? That's a different issue. But the point is by and large. So it's changed for the better. Today, it's unlikely to say those dialogues that heroes, villains, character actors would say about women in the 70s and 80s. So a kind of normalization has also happened, saying you cannot say that. You cannot portray women in a certain way. I'll give you the newsroom example. There are certain things that could be said about women colleagues in the 90s, or maybe a decade back, that are unthinkable today. I mean, somebody may say it, but everybody will point out. So in a way, a kind of series of actions can also change society for good. It's important for you to keep both these things in mind. For example, the portrayal of members of the LGBTQ plus community in our movies, I won't say it's become perfect or anything, but certain crude insensitivities that were common 10 years ago can no longer get away. So when you do a series of actions of speaking out for something, today I can tell you, no journalist boss in India, to the best of my knowledge, can get away with sexual harassment that easily. And that is the value of speaking out the truth and speaking it strongly, speaking it again and again and again and again. So you can make the good change. And that's very important for you to keep as part of your little profile, saying if you spoke the truth and you suffered, but you couldn't do a larger change, why would you do it? So the good news is, the good feature, the redeeming feature, the hope is, if you constantly speak for something, it is still possible to create that sense of shock in people again. So in other words, a series of lies can make people leave the sense of shock. On the other hand, a series of truths, you can re-establish that sense of shock in people, saying, taking a bribe is wrong. Thank you. And therefore, I'll speak the truth or will speak the truth. It's very important to know that. Now the question of the biggest monster in India today. What is it really? How do we frame that very dangerous elephant in the room? How do we define it? Is the question of who is an Indian? I'm sure all of you have an answer. Who is an Indian? It's a beautiful time to ask this question. 75th year of Indian independence. Amrit Mahotsav. Amrit is a beautiful thing. But you know how Amrit is born? Famous story, Amrit. Churning. You have to stir. And that's what used to be the job of journalists. And how do you stir? By asking questions. Today, the myth of Amrit Manthan is being changed to say, no questions, no churning. The Amrit will be delivered to you at your house in 29 minutes sharp through some app. Just open it, drink it, that's Amrit. And don't ask questions. Nobody has the guts. And one of the most gutsy person in human history is that child, whose name again we are not being told. I'm sure you heard about the emperor's new clothes. New clothes. Somebody cheated him, gave him no clothes, and everybody kept quiet and said that. Till the little boy who said, "Hey, emperor is naked." Very brave person. We don't know the name of that boy. But he exposed the lie. And he did not expose a lie. And this is very curious here. And this is what fact checkers in India will definitely run into. That little boy was not telling a truth other people did not know. Everybody knows it. What that boy did, and that is what some of your fact checking will be, it's not about knowing the fact and checking it. It is about actually saying the truth when everybody else knows the truth and decides not to say it. And I think we'll be very wrong in thinking that the biggest threat and the only threat is from politicians. You know who are the biggest dictators on the planet? And we all know them. Not prime minister, not chief minister, not judiciary, not bureaucracy, not mafia, not land mafia. It is your schoolmates on the WhatsApp group and your family. All of you are part of your family group, WhatsApp, school batch. You will be very afraid to tell the truth to your friends because you will lose friendship. Huh?
Admin can remove us.
Yes. You have to keep the admin happy. We are all part of a group, by the way, and I am the admin, so I am. It is in school benches that you are converted into cowards and slaves. When the teacher asks any questions and your friend says, shh, shh. and you're afraid. Your father-in-law, your mother-in-law, your uncle, your grandfather may suddenly say something on WhatsApp which is, blatantly wrong. If this was a statement being made by some stranger to you on a television debate, you will expose him on Twitter, on Facebook, on Instagram, through reels, through videos, using the techniques you've been taught. You will get followers. But try telling your mother-in-law that her political views are wrong. Family and friends are the biggest source of fake news and the building blocks of myths. And finally, when the myth comes out, you will be surprised your family and friends group is like my family, and my friends group is like her family and her friends group. All family groups and friends groups and alumni groups on WhatsApp are same. They're all stupid, they're all dictatorial. None of us have the courage to speak out. And so the whole country believes, and I'll tell you something interesting. In North Korea, everybody has to believe that their dictator is a supremely, uniquely created being by God. And if God wants to create a special human being out of 7 billion, why would he send him to North Korea? But then they believe it. I took the North Korean example because it's very easy. However Kim Jong-un or a fellow is dictatorial, he can't do anything to me here. Since now that this is also going on internet, I can't take local examples who actually know where I live, because that guy has no clue. So the crux of dictatorship is, and the fear of myth making is, the danger is very close to you. Fear of family and friends. And this is where Goebbels attacked. The myth after myth after myth. Because if you believe and accept a harsh lie at home, when you come to office, only in movies, only will it happen, that the guy who's saying I'm a coward will suddenly pick a bow and I will become Bahubali. Because there's music. Of course, on television you have music. Okay, all of you, please. Can you stop that music and slow motion while giving headlines and all that? And that repeat loops. I mean, forget lies, yeah. Have some... You all of you search how American television announced when John F. Kennedy was shot. The most significant moment in American history. And see a quality called gravitas in that moment. I have visualized how John F. Kennedy's assassination will be announced on TV9, ABN, Sakshi, T News, etc. Please, you can tell truth. One of the things about lies, by the way, I must tell you this. This is very interesting. I don't know if you've shared this. By definition, lies have to be loud. Years of history, if you notice, and so the television news. So truth can be spoken softly. How all the greatest of icons of mankind spoke. I don't know, Mother Teresa, Bishop Desmond Tutu, or Nelson Mandela had to yell and scream, etc. No. So, TV news, think about it. What are the dangers of myth? We spoke about how small lies, WhatsApp, office, TV, sense of shock comes, and wrong can become right. See, there'll always be those 2%, 3% people who speak the truth. What they need to make a social change is the bulk of people must support them. And they'll support them only if the majority of people in any society feel shock. And shock will wear out if you keep hearing it and normalizing it. So what can an organized myth prove today? if you give me enough resources today, give me enough resources, which is just WhatsApp groups, people who I give money for petrol and, bike, mobile recharge and uh, whatever, alcohol. Oh, by the way, even Gandhiji events in Telangana come with alcohol and meat. No journalist will tell you that. It will happen the next. We spoke about Gandhiji a lot yesterday, right? So as my journalists along in a program, bonds, food bonds, HIC, fantastic food, fish without thorns, masala was perfect. I said, Gandhiji, you're vegetarian. Gandhi Telangana. I left there, sir. So, I mean, like, this will not come out. It's a small fact, but trust me, it's a very big news. You can make a issue of it if you want, and so on and so on. But we are and declare who will bell the cat, etc. But the crux of myth making is this: give me enough resources. Give me. I'm not talking to more intelligent people on earth like Prashant Kishore or Sunil or all those extraordinary elections. Right? Somebody simple like me, you give me enough money and resources, and I can prove to India over a period of time. It'll take a little time, but first time I'll say, I can prove that Muslims have more teeth than Hindus. I'm challenging. This is a challenge I'm giving. Nobody can stop me. All fact checkers on earth can't stop me from convincing that there is a fundamental difference between two sets of people based on religion, that one set of people have more teeth in their mouth. I can convince. That is the kind of myth you can create. Now you're all shocked. How can it be possible? Give it a little time. The famous joke used to be, you don't believe me? Give me 3 minutes and then check Wikipedia. And then you'll see there's a truth. Side and communal rights. You all meet a movie actor, some middle-aged movie actor, somebody who's 60 years old but still dancing with a 20-year-old girl. And his films are even younger, so dashing. Hey, Sigler, age role chain truth cheppandi. Would you have the guts? Let film journalists start speaking truth to movie heroes. I'll tell you what will happen. They will be banned. They'll lose the job because they don't have sources. They're not allowed inside. So are you saying all movie actors and heroes and heroines are dictators? The answer is yes. They are dictators in the sense. The truth that hurts them, they are not willing to speak. Of course, they'll speak the truth about North Korea and Ukraine and Putin. But speak about your local cooperator, you will not. Speak about your mother-in-law, you will not. Speak about your school friend who suddenly become obnoxious enough to start attacking another set of friends based on their caste or community identity, and you will not have the guts. And they're all dictators. You only look at the dictator on the top. That's just an accident. One guy has to be there. Today it's somebody here, somebody there. But they'll still be the same. Which is why the idea of creating an army of fact checkers is essentially the crux of revitalizing the belief in society that for all the challenges and difficulties, that for all the hardships we face, let us become human. Human as defined simply by this: we have the courage to speak the truth, starting with ourselves. Starting with ourselves. So go home and write truthfully the lies you speak and try and stop telling them, because you are also a dictator. You will also make friends or enemies based on people who tell you the lies that you like. It's not just about facts of temperature, of numbers, of Kaleshwaram water, rainfall numbers, budget numbers. No, far more fatal numbers, beyond numbers, basic truths of life, basic truths of decency. Before the session, I was having a chat with Lana, and I said something to her that kind of surprised her a bit. I said, "You're still the citizen of the greatest country on earth." As an Indian, I feel very sad to say that. And she was surprised why I would say that. And I know America likes people who are critical of it. That's why all invitations to intellectuals who criticize America, I never get to go to US because I say good things about it. But I'll tell you why. Leave everything else. Can a person cross the street safely in Hyderabad? Can you walk the street safely? If all of you journalists want, you can make it impossible for anybody to have the insensitivity to drive the road in such a way when an old person is walking, they will not stop their car or bike. That's all the change I expect of the media to do today. If all of you wanted, could you not bring down the government of Hyderabad? I say government of Hyderabad because starting with 2000 when we had floods till today, can't we make one road, only one road? And that road also is not the road I live or Rajeshwari lives or Corina lives or you live. The road connecting the chief minister's house to the governor's bungalow, which is not very far, which won't be affected by rains no matter how much it rains. One road. In the last 25 years, how many bureaucratic trips abroad to study Copenhagen, Tokyo? You need to go to study all those places. How much money have you spent? We haven't been able to make 1 kilometer road which is capable of withstanding some rain. Can we not make a city in which old people can cross the streets without fearing a bus or a car or a jeep will come and kill them? These are things, there's no political difference also, no? Thankfully, there is a political party which says the moment pedestrians walk on the street, they should be killed. Thankfully. You never know. Like I said, give it a few resources, a few fake news factories can be created, and even that will become normalized. But this is very important for you all to think. Look at battles that can be won. I think media has been made to feel you can't change. The best way to begin is small changes. Best way. I'm sure you'll agree that the Prime Minister and the Chief Minister will not be too upset if you try to say that our pedestrians must be safe. That school children can cross the road safely to enter the school and come out. I think we can do that. So it's also as part of starting to telling the truths and exposing lies, important to look at those victories and change that we can actually bring in quickly. That will give you your confidence. A soldier is trained in phases, a soldier of truth also. Gandhiji also practiced in South Africa before coming to India. Try and do that. See, look around you. We are drowning in an ocean of lies and myths that suit the arrogance and power vanity of different kinds of systems. You just park your bike, one security guard, old guy who is sleeping all day, goes, hey, why? When he is a dictator, very helpless, vulnerable person. But that 1 minute when you're parking, he can cause you inconvenience either. And ask one question and see how he reacts. Nobody likes people asking questions. You know what Socrates said that made him get killed? Does anyone know here? What did Socrates actually say? You all heard about Socrates, right? What did Socrates say? Huh? I'll tell you this. Will Durant, the greatest of historians and analysts of philosophy, says Socrates never said anything in his life. Socrates never said anything in his life. He only questioned everything everybody said to him. He just questioned. So if you start asking questions, and I have experienced a little bit of this, liars get very uncomfortable. And I'm used to it because now, journalists report to you and they don't go to the spot and give you the report like they've actually been there. You all know it, no? We all do that. We ask our friend Ella Jargindi and pass it off as our own report. No, these are the lies that professional journalists live with. But bosses must know to call. The best way to ask more. Oh, where were you standing? How many, as you ask questions, and they don't like it. Liars don't like questions. Actually, nobody likes questions because everybody lies. So ask questions. Begin with yourself. Begin with people around you. Ask questions. So at the end of it, we'll ask ourselves, the first question I ask, why should media tell the truth? Why can't we lie? We know everybody lies. Leaders lie, parties lie, bureaucracy lies. Some other people I can't name lie. And some other people also who I can't name lie. Everybody is lying. Children lie, teachers lie, schools lie, colleges lie, businesses lie, doctors lie, lawyers lie. Why should media speak the truth? Why should you and I be the condemned or the chosen ones? Why? That's what will happen if you speak the truth. But why should you speak the truth? And I tried to ask this question of everybody who's exact opposite of Goebbels. Because Goebbels gives you very good reasons why you should lie. Because you can make people believe anything. You can make your horse the king, and then the king will give you a lot of powerful, real estate, land, position, award, membership to elite institutions, everything good will come to you if you lie. Then why should you speak the truth? And therefore I asked this question of the people who supposedly told the truth. I tried to ask Socrates, I tried to ask Buddha, Buddha, king, left. He's already a king, he was born a king, he just left it. Why? And the answer is very surprising. Will Durant says it. Because it's fun. Because it's fun. Have you ever heard this before? Telling lies gives you so many benefits. Telling the truth is so bad. You may lose job, you'll lose friends, you'll lose membership of your WhatsApp groups. You'll soon be barred and banned. Or there'll be guys who will actually, once you start speaking truth, you may even be kicked out of Twitter as somebody who's doing the wrong thing. Unless, of course, Elon Musk buys it, which he won't. So why should you speak the truth? It's because you'll experience a happiness, an adventure. All of you must do it, right? You all look very adventurous. That's why you became TV journalists to begin with, or journalists to begin with. Some sense of adventure. You could all have been software engineers maybe and made more money. Your parents must still be telling you, Marta din only koncha engineering cheskunte happy. You would have been in US, and when you come back to India, everybody will be envious of your, You chose to not do all that and like an idiot, going to office, working, getting scolded by your boss. Go get the report. What is the area? And at 1/3 the salary maybe or whatever. So you have some sense of adventure. And why do you do adventure? Why do you jump off mountains? Why do you jump off aeroplanes? Why do you go to the bottom of the ocean? There is no greater adventure in today's world. There never was a greater adventure 2,300 years ago when Socrates asked those questions. There was no greater adventure than when Jesus turned the tables on the moneylenders and spoke the truth. There was no greater adventure than when Mahatma Gandhi spoke the truth. There will be no greater adventure than you speak the truth tomorrow and die day after tomorrow, and we'll all put photos on your Facebook and say, Tamanchod RIP, but I hope you live longer than that. But it's fun. And don't trust me. Please don't trust me on that. Experiment with it. Go and speak a truth and see what you feel. If you like it, say more. If you don't, then fine. Nothing lost, just one session. Somebody asked me a few days ago, what is the one thing India must change in this Amrit Mahotsav year? And I said we should change the national bird of India from peacock to parrot. Parrot would be the perfect journalist, loves the cage, gets fed the best badam and kaju and repeats what the master says. That's what every system would like each one of you to become. There are a lot of risks, a lot of dangers, few benefits to begin with. But try and be the peacock, if you like, who just dances for his or her own pleasure, actually. His own pleasure. Not care a damn about anybody else. And you speak the truth. You call out the facts. And it's its own incentive. You speak the truth because it's fun. And soon you'll realize your journey between the distance between you and a Socrates or a Gandhi, all of them were killed, by the way, will start getting lesser and lesser. And at some point, some magic will happen around you. You will certainly be a different you. And then all the other benefits will happen. People will listen to you, there will be followership on Twitter, your reels will fly, you'll get promotions, you'll become the bosses, you'll have more influence and you'll get bigger change. But whether that happens sooner or later, just get on to this adventure of analyzing, questioning, yourself included, and enjoy the pleasures of that particular journey of adventure on a path called the truth. So be your truth soldier. I think she used the beautiful phrase, soldier of truth or army of truth. And I think you'll be surprised how many battles you can win. How many battles. So therefore, wish you all the power in your career of truth, of courage, of being unconventional, of being willing to be unpopular, of being gladly, happily be able to sacrifice membership of those WhatsApp groups. You will no longer be invited for dinners and lunches and press club, whatever happens in press club, I don't know. All those things. Win elections to the media council or whatever Hyderabad thing, nobody will like you, but you will be on a different club, the kinds of which, some of whom I gave examples of, the person who said the earth is round. So go, have fun. In the 75th year, the answers are still to be found within. And I'll end my speech with just those two words. Two words which we as a country adopted, and two words which we country have happily ignored from the first minute of our becoming a free country. Two words that all of us abuse every single day of our lives. But two words that can still liberate. Satyamev Jayate. ఏం సార్?
నిజం ఎక్కడ ఉంది సార్? ఎవరి దగ్గర ఉంటుంది?
ఏం నిజం సార్?
మన అబద్ధాలే క్యారీ చేస్తామని అన్నారు కదా. అసలు నిజాలు ఎక్కడ దొరుకుతాయి?
ఫ్యాక్ట్ చెక్ చేస్తే దొరుకుతాయన్నా.
ఒక్క నిమిషం, I'll answer it. I don't know. You have to find it yourself, for yourself. Any other question? It's wonderful, to have a group of journalists who don't ask questions. My faith in the future just goes up so much.
No, I was still trying to process what are the lies in your speech.
What are the lies in my speech? Okay. I didn't tell you any lies to the best of my knowledge, but I asked you to be alert. Always be alert. The greatest Professor Steve, some of his students have shared this. I learned it indirectly. He used to tell students that whenever somebody is speaking to you, ask, why is he lying to me? Don't say, is he lying to me? Of course he's lying. Why is he lying to me? So therefore, be on the alert. I did this really because otherwise you would all fallen asleep. So. But no, to the best of my knowledge,
That was a lie.
maybe, yeah, good. Yes, maybe there was. But glad you kept awake and alert. Anything?
సార్ అన్ని ఛానల్స్ అన్ని సార్లు అబద్ధాలే చెప్తాయంటారా?
Sorry, ma'am.
అన్ని ఛానల్స్ అన్ని సార్లు అబద్ధాలే చెప్తాయి అంటారా?
నాకంత ఛానల్స్ తాలూకు అన్ని చూసే టైం లేదు. తెలియంది నేను అది అబద్ధం అని ఎలా చెప్పగలను? బట్ యాజ్ షీ స్పోక్, అండ్ ఇట్స్ వెరీ ఇంపార్టెంట్, ప్లీజ్ అండర్స్టాండ్ దిస్. షీ స్పోక్ అబౌట్ అ శాండ్విచ్ ఆఫ్ లై. చూసారా ఆ ఎగ్జాంపుల్? ఇట్స్ నాట్ ఆల్ లై. మొత్తం అబద్ధం చెప్తే ఎవడైనా దట్ విల్ బి వెరీ ఈజీ టు క్యాచ్ అండ్ ఎక్స్పోజ్. Problem is with people who will tell you many truths and then a small dangerous lie. Shakespeare in Macbeth says, oftentimes to winners of our harm, they win you with trifles to betray you in deeper consequences. They tell you the truth first. The Ponzi scheme who will come and give you 20% interest, they always pay in the first 1 month interest. So these people go and say, it's not. Nobody has the courage to tell all lies. That will be so, it will make your job very easy if somebody told only lies. Problem is when you pack 5 truths and then a little lie. So that's the danger. Which means you have to be alert all the time. As journalists, the biggest enemy for you will be mental laziness. Don't believe anybody. If I give you 9 facts, don't believe the 10th thing I say will be true. You cannot become lazy. They look for that moment. Like coronavirus, you wear mask 100 days, no problem. 1 minute you stop wearing the mask, it will catch you. The one moment when your, alert levels of being vigilant goes down, that's when it sneaks in. So no, andaru abadhalu chepte problem e undadu. ఎప్పుడో ఎక్కడో చిన్న అబద్ధం అది పెద్దదైపోతుంది. దట్ ఈస్ ద డేంజర్. అండ్ ఐ హావ్ నథింగ్ అగైన్స్ ఛానల్స్, బై ద వే, ప్లీజ్ డోంట్, ఇట్ వాస్ జస్ట్ సోషల్ మీడియా జర్నలిజం, print journalism, TV journalism, films as journalism, because films can carry a lot of truth. And Goebbels used movies very well. And so please understand, we are all, in that sense, your Facebook post, your Twitter post, even when 4 people talk, ఒక కాలేజ్ క్యాంటీన్ లో 10 మంది కూర్చుంటే సడన్ గా 11th పర్సన్ వస్తాడు. అరే మీకు తెలుసా? He is playing the role of the journalist. He's telling them something in a manner of sensational love. I know it first. People always loved, if you know something I don't know, you love to tell me. That is journalism. Everybody is a journalist. And every journalist in every moment can end up siding with lie. That fear is there. So be alert. So professional journalist, every other journalist on earth, everybody who has a TV, who has a mobile, the difference is you as a professional journalist will not say what you yourself are not 100% convinced is true. That is the challenge we face as professional journalists. And the problem is finding out that truth, which he very conveniently asked me as if I'm some Buddha and I'll give you gyan with one answer. The process of finding the truth And verifying it is both expensive and time consuming. People don't want to pay for news. People don't want to wait for the true news. Those are the dangers. The time, money it takes to establish truth is also an issue of a challenge. And those are the things we'll all go back to our respective offices and try and find answers. How do we do? And these are not easy questions. The best minds on earth are grappling. How do you deal with the fact that people don't want to pay for news, they don't want to wait, they're very happy to take a lie from a less credible source, how do you start, and so on and so forth. It's a challenge. And madam, no, there are no easy answers. Channels are wonderful. You have a bigger influence, lesser credibility, but bigger reach and influence. Please appreciate that. Let's be very clear. Nobody may have seen my face till today in this room, but had instead of me, Swapna or Rajnikant or Venkata Krishna or anybody or I don't know all of them, but Arnab or Rajdeep would have come, you'd all recognized him. So you have that reach. A lot of people watch you. More people watch you. She spoke of the value of videos. You already mastered that format. You have the ability to reach out. If only you had the tools, and that is why I congratulate Basit, Professor Stephen, for doing this program, because it's very important that you teach this not just in journalism schools, but to actually, because they will start making a difference from evening when they go back to their workplace. And that's amazing. Definitely. So general perception, perceptions will have it true or true, lie or true, it's popular view. Popular view, for example, healthcare law, if you are my doctor friends ask me what should I do. Today everybody believes government hospitals are inefficient and corrupt and private hospitals steal your money by doing unnecessary tests and all that. It's a general perception, maybe everyone survey. Same thing people say. Electronic media has no credibility, but at the same time you have influence. They still watch. So you still have the ability to make a difference. You still have the ability to change yourself and change society for the better faster and reach out to more number of people. No doubt about it. Everybody still wants to be on TV because the politician, the bureaucrat wants to be seen. You give that ability to show people that this is somebody. You still can be the difference between anonymity and fame. But who are the people you are making famous? On what issues? What is the kind of platforming you're doing for what kind of people with what kind of views? And when do you call out certain lies that should be called out? Are you yourself equipped in every interaction? And when you go to do a report with the police, are you yourself aware of the case, the law, that you can counter the lies on the spot? Because even a little life has, and she spoke about the time it takes to fact check. Real-time fact checking is very hard. It's not just about the president or prime minister's speeches, it's every other guy who utters nonsense on the street. Common people you interview, they also may utter their own biases and they need to be checked, they need to be called out. So you have to prepare that much harder. But electronic media has influence and reach bigger than print. And electronic media fits in equally easily onto the social media, unlike print. So you have that power. Just learn and use it for something slightly better, that's all. Not trying to ask you to become a martyr, no. But somebody slightly better than what you are today, each one of us can surely aim for that.
So DC is such a huge establishment. Did you find any instances where you had to combat misinformation? When you got views and you had to fact check and then publish it?
Yeah. So first thing, I know a lot of editors won't like to say it, but this is my, and some editors have told me, that this is how editors are, whatever, I don't know. And I'm very happy to apologize for my mistakes. Please be very clear that there have been instances where we got some fact or some detail wrong. And one of the very important things for journalists, for editors, is to have the humility to say sorry. Readers tag me on Twitter saying you made this mistake. I retweet my mistakes. And that's part of going back to get credibility. But yes, there are instances, truth and lie. I mean, when you speak in abstraction, it's very easy, like I make it sound like black and white or, chalk and cheese. There's a lot of subtlety and nuance in the lives we face in real life situation. I mean, Sudhakar is here, Corina is here, all of you have done different beats. You know how people give you information. How do you know what is the truth? Both sides sound convincing. And there are sometimes you have a suicide or a crime of passion. Wife will say something, family will say something. Which side do you believe? Very hard. That is the real challenge for us professionals.
India Today and Times of India, they have started their own fact-checking units. Is there any proposal for DC doing that?
I was hoping nobody will ask me that. I've learned some interesting things about fact checking. I'm not personally somebody who's attended any training, so I don't know all the means and specific techniques, etc. But I'm very excited and thrilled. I think we should do something about it. I'll try. I've been warned not to make announcements on behalf of the publication at public interactions like this, so I'll not make an announcement. I'll go back and discuss it with my philosophy and policy and commitment to making sure everything we publish is the truth or as close to being factually correct as possible is there. Do we specifically do fact checking? How do we do it? I'll try and figure out. I don't know the answer. Anything else? If I'm done, thank you so very much. A great pleasure. Lovely interacting with you.
Dear friends, Mr. Kari Sriram is known in literary circles as a great storyteller. From the perspective of a lie, he dealt with the diametrically opposite aspect of fact. He did well. A big round of applause for you. Here, Mr. Sriram, we have all senior journalists and some budding journalists. They got benefited out of your wonderful, entertaining speech. Now I request US Consulate's Mr. Basit to propose a vote of thanks to Mr. Kari Sriram.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Alana. Since morning, I heard you. It was very interesting. And particularly, we thank Sriram sir. The moment I reached out to him requesting for his address here, he immediately accepted that, which is always my friendship with him, you can call it. Always any request that I goes with to him, never actually, he always obliged to it. And that's greatness about our relation. But here, when I heard this speech, the address, it is not just about fact checking, but it is so interesting. I think all of you must have found it, from history to today's kind of trend, what's going on fake news. It's so interesting and so we call it sticky, that we could not get away from any for a second also. So it's thank you so much for that wonderful address, sir. So yeah, the one thing that I'm not here to clarify on his behalf, but that electronic media, the word came here because you all are from TV journalists. That is the only reason, perhaps, that is kind of give an example of TV things. Otherwise, we know the way he actually very boldly tweets and boldly speak about anything and everything, and he also guides journalists how to speak truth and all. Mistakes happen in everywhere, in every organization it happens. I was also journalist, we did mistakes, then we clarified so many times. So that's part of our profession. But only request always is that when we some truths like organized lie, which is, which is more dangerous, because the way society is going through what we are facing now, whether it's a political campaign, whether maybe it is on hate or anything, there is a larger kind of conspiracies around behind them. The moment you start questioning them, maybe people will, at least if they don't speak truth, at least people will come to know about that, when they are silent also. So that is what our approach. And thank you so much for all you people joining this course and very patiently, like Sudhakar counted everything 120 hours. It's your patience and your contribution to this. I think we hope this is going to help many people. And again, once again, thanks to Stevenson sir, Sudhakar, Corina, Ramu sir, and all of you. And special thanks to Sriram sir for coming here today. Thanks everyone.
శ్రీరామ్ గారు ఇక్కడి నుంచి వెళ్ళిపోయే లోపల రెండు విషయాలు మీకు అందరికి తెలుగులో చెప్తాం అనుకుంటున్నాను, ఎందుకంటే సమ్అప్ చేసి. థ్యాంక్ యూ బాసిక్ భాయ్, థ్యాంక్స్ ఫర్ యువర్ వర్డ్ ఆఫ్ థ్యాంక్స్. అబద్ధాల సముద్రంలో మునిగి కొట్టుకుపోతున్నాము, అందరం అబద్ధాలనే నిజాలుగా నమ్ముతూ బతుకుతున్నాము అని అద్భుతంగా చెప్పారు. అయితే రెండు విషయాలు వారు చాలా బాధతో ఆవేదనతో చెప్పారు అబద్ధాల గురించి. నిజానికి సత్యం పట్ల మనందరం నిబద్ధులమై కట్టుబడి ఉండాలా అనే ఒక సందేశం ఇవ్వడం కోసం అబద్ధాల గురించి చాలా మాట్లాడారు. అయితే బయటికి వెళ్ళి నిజం మాట్లాడి చూడండి, గో అండ్ స్పీక్ ట్రూత్ అవుట్ సైడ్ అండ్ సీ అని ఒక ఛాలెంజ్ విసిరారు. అది చాలా అద్భుతంగా ఈ జర్నలిస్టులు, ఇప్పుడు కొత్తగా జర్నలిజంలోకి వస్తున్న వాళ్ళు నిజంగా స్వీకరించాల్సిన సవాల్ అది. వారు నెమలిలాగా ఉంటావా చిలకగా ఉంటావా? నెమలిలాగా అంటే నీకోసం నువ్వు హ్యాపీగా ఆనందంగా అంటే సత్యానికి కట్టుబడి ఉంటావా, లేకపోతే నీ మాస్టర్స్ చెప్పిన చిలక పలుకులు పలుకుతూ బతుకుతావా అనే ఒక ఛాలెంజ్, వారు సందేశం కూడా దాంట్లో ఉంది. చాలా అద్భుతంగా చెప్పారు సార్, థ్యాంక్ యూ వెరీ మచ్. అయితే వారందరూ రిపీటెడ్ గా, శ్రీరామ్ గారు రిపీటెడ్ గా మీ అందరినీ ఇంటికి వెళ్ళి ఒక 5 అబద్ధాలు 5 సత్యాలు ఏం చెప్పాము చేసామనేది రాయమన్నారు. వచ్చిన అడ్వైజ్ ఏంటంటే రాసి దాచుకోండి, ఎవరికి చెప్పకండి. థ్యాంక్ యూ వెరీ మచ్ సార్, థ్యాంక్ యూ వెరీ మచ్. ఇప్పుడు ఉమా గారు చిన్న ప్రజెంటేషన్ ఏదో చేశారట, అది అయిపోతుంది, అది కాగానే లంచ్కి వెళ్దాము. ఉమా
That's what you told me, I did, no?
No, before lunch, Mr. Afternoon, secondary. I actually, sir, told me, Mama, even her presentation will be after lunch.
Did you open it? రాము గారు మాత్రం నిజం చెప్పాలా, స్టేజ్ మీదకి వెళ్ళాడు.
జమీన్ బాబు, Sriram sir, one of the participants made this video just to sum up the entire scenes.
Uma, లేచి నుంచో క్లాప్స్ ముందే
Yeah, Uma.
American conflict, Osmania University.
Lights off. బాబు, బాబు లైట్స్ ఆఫ్ అండి.
దాంట్లో పెడితే అక్కడ మైక్ పెట్టండి లేదు.
వాయిస్ ఎక్కువ కనపడుతున్నాడు వీడియో.
अभी आया भाई
మనము జర్నలిస్టులుగా ఎట్లా ముందుకు తీసుకెళ్ళాలి, మనం పనిచేస్తున్న ఆర్గనైజేషన్స్ మనం
ప్రస్తుత డిజిటల్ యుగంలో నిజ నిర్ధారణ అంటే ఫ్యాక్ట్ చెకింగ్ అవసరం, ప్రాముఖ్యత చాలా చాలా పెరిగింది. ఈ నేపథ్యంలో అమెరికన్ కాన్సులేట్, ఉస్మానియా యూనివర్సిటీ తెలుగు జర్నలిస్టుల కోసం ఒక చక్కటి ప్రోగ్రామ్ తో ముందుకు రావడం నిజంగా అభినందనీయం. ఈ సుదీర్ఘ ప్రాజెక్ట్ లో భాగస్వాములైన విద్యార్థుల సక్సెస్ఫుల్ జర్నీని ఫ్యాక్ట్ చెకర్స్ గా బిఫోర్ అండ్ ఆఫ్టర్ వారి ఒపీనియన్స్ ని, ఫీలింగ్స్ ని ఇప్పుడు చూద్దాం.
అనేది వ్యాప్తి ఇప్పుడు చాలా ఎక్కువగా ఉంది కాబట్టి ఈ సోషల్ మీడియా ప్లాట్ఫామ్ లో వచ్చే మిస్ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ ని మనం జర్నలిస్టులుగా ఎంత బాధ్యతాయుతంగా వీటిని డీబంక్ చేయాలి, పబ్లిక్ లో దీనిపైన ఎలాంటి అవేర్నెస్ తీసుకురావాలన్నది తెలిసింది. అలాగే ఇప్పుడు చాలా మంది కూడా సోషల్ మీడియా ప్లాట్ఫామ్ లో మినిట్స్ లోనే ఒక ఫేక్ న్యూస్ అనేది వైరల్ అవుతుంది. దాన్ని మనం జర్నలిస్టులుగా ఎట్లా ముందుకు తీసుకెళ్లాలి, మనం పనిచేస్తున్న ఆర్గనైజేషన్స్ లో మిస్ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ మీద ఎట్లాంటి అవగాహన తీసుకురావాలి. To share my experience with this fact check training. In social media, it is very broadened today, and there is a lot of information available from variety of sources, and where there is no exact filter of journalist as the establishment of the truth teller. Though the mainstream media is having it, still there are traces of mis or disinformation, and there is a lot of ambiguity between the opinions and the facts. Yes, it is necessary to verify the factual information. We should tend to look for what we do not see. అనేది చాలా ఇంపార్టెంట్. అంటే మెయిన్ మీడియా జర్నలిజం కే కాదు, డిజిటల్ మీడియా జర్నలిజం కూడా ఇప్పుడు ఫ్యాక్ట్ చెక్ అనేది చాలా కీలకం. సో బిఫోర్ ఫ్యాక్ట్ చెకింగ్, సో ఏదైతే ఏంటి నేను వార్త రాస్తాను, జెన్యున్ గా చేస్తాను అని ఫీలింగ్ తోటి మేము ఐటమ్స్ కానీ స్టోరీస్ కానీ రాసేవాళ్ళం. కానీ ఆఫ్టర్ ఫ్యాక్ట్ చెకింగ్ ట్రైనింగ్ తర్వాత సో ప్రతిదీ అంటే ఇది కరెక్టా కాదా అనేది కన్ఫర్మేషన్ చేసుకోవడానికి టూల్స్ యూజ్ చేస్తున్నాం. ఇట్స్ వెరీ యూస్ఫుల్. యుఎస్ కౌన్సిలేట్ మాకు సపోర్ట్ చేసింది, అండ్ ఉస్మానియా యూనివర్సిటీ సో జర్నలిస్ట్లకి అంటే 40 మెంబర్స్ జర్నలిస్ట్లకి ఒక అవేర్నెస్ తీసుకొచ్చి ఒక కోర్స్ వర్క్ షాప్ ని కండక్ట్ చేయడం ఇట్స్ లైక్ అమేజింగ్, అద్భుతం. సో ఈ ఫ్యాక్ట్ చెక్ ప్రోగ్రామ్ ద్వారా ఒకప్పుడు జనరల్ గా ఏదైనా న్యూస్ వస్తే దాన్ని క్రాస్ చెక్ కొద్ది వరకు చేసుకునే వాళ్ళం, బట్ ల్యాక్ ఆఫ్ టైం వల్ల ఆ న్యూస్ ని అలానే కమ్యూనికేట్ చేసేవాళ్ళం. కానీ ఈ ఫ్యాక్ట్ చెక్ ప్రోగ్రామ్ ద్వారా ఒక న్యూస్ ని ఏ విధంగా ఫ్యాక్ట్ చెక్ చేయొచ్చు, మనకు ఉన్నటువంటి టూల్స్ ద్వారా ఎట్లా మనం ఆ ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ కరెక్ట్ రాంగ్ తెలుసుకునేటువంటి ఒక మంచి ప్లాట్ఫామ్. బిఫోర్ ఫ్యాక్ట్ చెక్ రాకముందు దీనిలో పెద్ద అవగాహన ఉండేది కాదు. ఏ వార్త వచ్చినా సరే అది తప్పైనా సరే వెళ్ళిపోయేది మెయిన్ స్ట్రీమ్ మీడియాలోకి. ఈ ఫ్యాక్ట్ చెక్ ఈ ప్రాజెక్ట్ నేర్చుకోవడం వల్ల ఏదైనా వచ్చిన తర్వాత మనకి ఏదైనా సమర్థనాత్మక ఆలోచన ఉంటే మనం దాన్ని చూసి దాన్ని అక్కడ ఫ్యాక్ట్ చెక్ అక్కడితోనే దాన్ని ప్రజల్లోకి వెళ్లకుండా మిస్ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ ప్రజల్లోకి వెళ్లకుండా ఆపడం జరుగుతుంది. అంతేకాకుండా పర్సనల్ గా కూడా వాట్సాప్ లో ఎన్నో ఫేక్ మెసేజెస్ వస్తుంటాయి. ఈ ఫ్యాక్ట్ చెక్ ప్రాజెక్ట్ వల్ల ఇప్పటికప్పుడు ఫేక్ మెసేజ్ వస్తే అక్కడితో ఆ వాట్సాప్ గ్రూప్ లో దాన్ని ఆపడానికి జరుగుతుంది. గురించి పెద్దగా అవగాహన లేకపోయినప్పటికీ కూడా కొంత ఏదైనా ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ వచ్చింది అంటే తప్ప కరెక్టా అనే ఒక సెర్చ్ అయితే జరిగేది. బట్ ఇప్పుడు మాత్రం కొంత టెక్నికల్ గా దాన్ని ఎట్లా సెర్చ్ చేయాలి ఏంటి అనే టూల్స్ ప్రత్యేకంగా ఇక్కడ నేర్పించిన శిక్షణ ద్వారా మనకు తెలియటం జరిగింది. ఈ ఫ్యాక్ట్ చెకింగ్ కోర్స్ కంప్లీట్ గా నేర్చుకున్న దాంట్లో ముఖ్యంగా ఒక వీడియో కావచ్చు, ఒక ఫోటో కావచ్చు, ఒక టెక్స్ట్ కావచ్చు, ఏదైనా ఒక మిస్ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ డిస్ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ వచ్చింది అంటే దాన్ని ఏ విధంగా స్క్రూటినీ చేయాలి, అది తప్ప కరెక్ట్ అనేది పూర్తి స్థాయిలో తెలుసుకొని మనం ప్రజలకి అందించడానికి చాలా ఉపయోగపడింది. ఇవాళ జర్నలిజం లో ఫ్యాక్ట్ చెకింగ్ అనేది ఒక చాలా చాలా కీ రోల్ పోషిస్తుంది ఖచ్చితంగా. నేను డిజిటల్ మీడియాలో ఉన్నాను కాబట్టి ఒక న్యూస్ ని పబ్లిష్ చేసే ముందు ఇది అవునా కాదా, ఇందులో నిజం ఎంత అనేది పరిశీలించుకోవాల్సిన అవసరం చాలా ఉంది. అట్లాంటి అవసరాన్ని సైంటిఫిక్ గా చేసుకునే అవకాశం కల్పించిన వాళ్ళకి నిజంగా ఓయూ అండ్ యూఎస్ కౌన్సిలర్ గారికి థ్యాంక్స్ చెప్పుకోవాలి. అండ్ ఈ కోర్స్ లో మెయిన్ గా విమెన్ ఎక్కువగా పార్టిసిపేట్ చేయడం ఇంకా మోర్ ఎంకరేజబుల్ అనిపించింది. ఇట్లా ఫ్యాక్ట్ చెకింగ్ లో ఇంకొంతమంది విమెన్ జర్నలిస్టులు రావాలని కోరుకుంటూ, నిబద్ధతతో ఖచ్చితమైన వార్త మాత్రమే జనానికి అందించాలని కోరుకుంటూ,
సమస్యలు అదేవిధంగా చాలా డౌట్స్ కి ఇక్కడ క్లారిఫికేషన్ దొరికింది. నిజ జీవితంలో అదేవిధంగా వృత్తిపరంగా కూడా ఎదురైనటువంటి సమస్యలను ఏ విధంగా మనం పరిష్కరించవచ్చు, లేదంటే ఎలా నిర్ధారణ చేసుకోవచ్చు అనే విషయాలు స్పష్టంగా ఈ క్లాస్ ద్వారా నేర్చుకున్నాను. వ్యక్తిగత జీవితానికి కూడా చాలా ఉపయోగపడుతుందని చెప్పుకోవచ్చు. డివోషనల్ గా ఎక్కువగా ఇంట్రెస్ట్ చూపాను. ఆ డివోషనల్ గా వచ్చేటువంటి వీడియోలో ఎంతవరకు నిజం ఉందనేది కూడా తెలుసుకునే ప్రయత్నం చేయడానికి ఇది ఉపయోగపడుతుందని చెప్పుకోవచ్చు.
So I'm one of the few students who have been taking this training program. Being a student of mass communication and journalism, whatever courses and openings we have are very well known and very limited. But right now, because of this course, because of being associated with this training program, I have been introduced to a completely new, different field. There's a complete new opening for us where it's new, so we can be the first ones to go and create different, directions to it, and really looking forward to seeing what I can do with this course and the training that I'm going. కౌంటరింగ్ మిస్ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్, డిస్ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ అనే కోర్స్ తర్వాత చూసుకున్నట్లయితే ఒక వ్యక్తిగా, ఒక జర్నలిస్ట్ గా నా దృక్పథం మారింది. అంటే పర్సెప్షన్ చేంజ్ అయింది. ఏ అంశం చూసినా కూడా క్రిటికల్ గా ఎలా చూడాలి, అంటే మన వద్దకు వచ్చిన వార్త ప్రతిదీ కూడా కరెక్ట్ అవ్వదు. అయితే ఇంతకు ముందు ఒక వీడియో వచ్చినప్పుడు దాన్ని ఎలా డీబంక్ చేయాలో తెలిసేది కాదు, కాబట్టి ఈ వీడియో నేను హ్యాండిల్ చేయలేను అని వదిలేసేదాన్ని. కానీ ఇప్పుడైతే ఒక వీడియో వచ్చినా, ఒక ఫోటో వచ్చినా, లేదంటే ఒక ట్విట్టర్ షేరింగ్ వచ్చినా కూడా ఇది నిజమా కాదా అనేది దాన్ని డీబంక్ చేయగలుగుతున్నా. అంటే ఆలోచన దృక్పథం మారింది. అదేవిధంగా సాంకేతిక పరిజ్ఞానం, టెక్నికల్ గా దాని లోపలికి ఎలా వెళ్ళొచ్చు, ఎలా దాన్ని స్కూప్ చేయొచ్చు, అది ఎక్కడి నుంచి జనరేట్ అయింది, ఈ అన్ని అంశాలకు సంబంధించి ఒక విస్తృతమైన అవగాహన కలిగింది, మరింత కాన్ఫిడెన్స్ పెరిగింది. ఈ ఫీల్డ్ లో మరి కొంతమంది జర్నలిస్టులకి అవకాశాలు పెరుగుతాయి ఖచ్చితంగా. ఇది చాలా ఆహ్వానించదగిన పరిణామం. దీని మీద భవిష్యత్తు చాలా ఆధారపడి ఉంది ఏ మాత్రం బీటెక్కిన తర్వాత కూడా ప్రతి పార్టీ ఏదో ఒక తన రైవల్ పార్టీని మిస్ ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ తో, లేకపోతే ఫేక్ ఇమేజెస్ తో ప్రచారం చేసుకోవడం మామూలు అయిపోయింది. ఇలాంటి వాటిలో సాధారణ జనానికి అసలు వార్త ఏది, అసలు నకిలీ వార్త ఏదైనా తెలుసుకోవడం చాలా కష్టతరంగా మారింది. ఈ తరుణంలో ఫ్యాక్ట్ న్యూస్ ఆవశ్యకత చాలా ఉంది. మేము అందరం కోర్స్ నేర్చుకున్న తర్వాత దాన్ని ఫేక్ న్యూస్ ని ఎట్లా డీబంక్ చేయాలి అన్నది మేము నేర్చుకోగలిగాం. దీనిలో చాలా ఎన్నో ఇంట్రెస్టింగ్ టూల్స్ కూడా మాకు ఇంట్రడ్యూస్ చేశారు. గూగుల్ రివర్స్ ఇమేజ్ సెర్చ్ దగ్గర నుంచి, ఇమేజ్ టూల్స్ దగ్గర నుంచి, అలాగే జియో ట్యాగ్, జియో లొకేషన్ దగ్గర నుంచి లైఫ్ ఎంత సొఫిస్టికేటెడ్ గా మార్చుకోవడానికి ఈ టూల్స్ ఉపయోగపడతాయి అన్నదాన్ని మేము కోర్స్ ద్వారా చాలా తెలుసుకున్నాం. అంతేకాదు ఈ కోర్సు ఫర్దర్ గా ఫ్యూచర్ జనరేషన్స్ కి ఒక ఉపాధి మార్గం కింద కూడా మారే అవకాశాలు చాలా ఉంది. చెకింగ్ కోసం అదర్ మీడియా హౌసెస్ ఎలా చేస్తున్నాయని చూసేదాన్ని, బట్ ఇప్పుడు మాత్రం నా అంతటి నేను చేసుకోవడం అనేది స్టార్ట్ చేశాను. బేసికల్ గా ఉస్మానియా యూనివర్సిటీ అండ్ ఓయూ కాన్సులేట్ కలిసి తెలుగు మీడియా జర్నలిస్ట్ల కోసం ఈ ఫ్యాక్ట్ చెకింగ్ ట్రైనింగ్ అనేది, డీబంకింగ్ డిస్ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ కోర్స్ అనేది స్టార్ట్ చేయడం అనేది ఫస్ట్ ఆఫ్ ఇట్స్ కైండ్ అని మాతో స్టార్ట్ చేయడం అనేది ఇట్స్ గ్రేట్ థింగ్ గా చెప్పుకోవచ్చు. యూజువల్ గానే నేషనల్ మీడియా ఇంగ్లీష్ వాళ్ళకో లేకుంటే హిందీ లాంగ్వేజ్ వాళ్ళకో లేకుంటే నార్త్ లో ఉండేటువంటి మీడియా హౌసెస్ వాళ్ళకో వచ్చే ఛాన్స్, ఒక ఆపర్చునిటీ అనేది తెలుగు వాళ్ళకి, అందులో పర్టికులర్ గా 40% ఉమెన్ జర్నలిస్టులు ఉండాలి అనుకోవడం అనేది ఒక గ్రేట్ ఆపర్చునిటీగా చెప్పుకోవచ్చు. అండ్ అందులో మేము భాగస్వాములమైనందుకు వి ఫీల్ ప్రౌడ్ ఆఫ్ అవర్ సెల్ఫ్. నేను మీడియాలో పనిచేస్తే సోషల్ మీడియాలో కూడా యాక్టివ్ గా ఉంటాను. అయితే కొన్ని సందర్భాల్లో ట్విట్టర్ లో వస్తున్న కొన్ని ఫేక్ సమాచారము ఒక స్ప్రెడ్ అవుతుంటే అనిపించేది, ఏంటి ఇంత వేగ్ గా వైరల్ చేస్తా ఉన్నారు అని. అంటే నాకున్న సెన్స్, నా ఎక్స్పీరియన్స్ దాన్ని బట్టి నేను ఇది ఫేక్ అయ్యి ఉండొచ్చు అనుకునేదాన్ని. అలాంటి వాటిని షేర్ చేయకుండా ఉండడం, పోస్ట్ చేయకపోవడం అలా చేసేదాన్ని. అయితే ఇప్పుడు ఈ ఒక కోర్స్ అమెరికన్ కాన్సులేట్ జనరల్ అలాగే ఉస్మానియా యూనివర్సిటీ జర్నలిజం డిపార్ట్మెంట్ నిజంగా మంచి ఒక స్టెప్, మంచి కార్యక్రమం అనొచ్చు. ఇంతమంది జర్నలిస్టులకి నిజంగా ప్రతి జర్నలిస్ట్ ఒక ఫ్యాక్ట్, ముఖ్యంగా జర్నలిస్టులు ఫ్యాక్ట్ చెక్ అవ్వాలి. చాలా technology is increasing. As the technology of the misinformation is increasing, so is the technology of fact checking. So I think during this whole 100 and odd hours of fact checking training, I think I've learned all these technologies, and it's only after putting it into use is when I'm finding out that it's helping me in my journalism.
ఏదైతే సోర్సెస్ ఉంటాయి కదా, ఆ సోర్సెస్ ఇంకా ఫ్యాక్ట్ చెక్ తర్వాత బాగా తెలిసి వచ్చింది. ఎందుకంటే అంతకుముందు మామూలుగా ఈ గూగుల్ ద్వారా ఇన్ని టూల్స్ ఉంటాయని మనకు తెలియదు. ఈ ఫ్యాక్ట్ చెకింగ్ ట్రైనింగ్ తీసుకున్న తర్వాత ఎంత మంచిగా
అనే విషయం తెలియనప్పుడు నేను సాధారణంగా ఏ అంశాన్ని తెలుసుకోకుండా వార్తలు ఇవ్వగలిగామండి. అయితే ఫ్యాక్ట్ చెకింగ్ గురించి తెలుసుకున్న తర్వాత, దాంట్లో ఉన్న టూల్స్ అనేవి తెలుసుకున్న తర్వాత ఈటీవీలో కూడా దానికి సంబంధించినటువంటి అంశాలని స్పష్టంగా ఫ్యాక్ట్ చెకింగ్ చేసి ఇవ్వగలుగుతున్నప్పుడు, గతంలో నేను ఒక ఎగ్జాంపుల్ కూడా చేశాను. అక్కడ తుఫాన్ వచ్చినప్పుడు ఒక డిస్ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ అనే ఒక వీడియో వచ్చింది. అయితే దానికి సంబంధించి ఫ్యాక్ట్ చెక్ చేసిన తర్వాత దాన్ని నిరూపించగలిగాను. Being taken up by U.S. Consulate and Osmania University for training TV journalists. This is perhaps India's longest training program in fact checking. So we have participants from all major TV channels here. There are around 40 of them. So we have given training on different aspects because misinformation and disinformation is a big problem these days, and we have misinformation, disinformation creeping into the mainstream media. So journalists, particularly Telugu TV journalists, they lack the basic verification skills like verifying videos, images, text, social audit, and different allied areas. So here in this program, we have taught them all these techniques, tools, and there's a lot of practicals that happen here, and we have got them assignments done, and they give presentations, and all of them are now today able to fact check. There's a sea change, and I can see it. This community, this fact check community that we have built, disinformation, and fake news. This program, these workshops, we have taken up to educate our TV journalists in Telugu media, because we see so much disinformation around us, a lot of fake news around us, whether it's on social media or even on TV channels. So
we don't want society to suffer. And journalists, without checking these facts, presenting to public, is going to actually cause a lot of problems in future. So we want to so we want to fight against this disinformation. So as part of that, we have given this grant to Osmania University to do these workshops and these trainings. So 35 to 40 TV journalists are part of this training. They are undergoing training, and some of our experts are training that. So we are happy that they are now professional fact checkers, they themselves, and they are going to train other journalists, as well as we are going to check news before telecasting, relaying on TV channels, so which is going to help our society in a big way. Thank you.
Hi, fact checkers. I'm Karina Suarez. I'm part of the US Consulate Project in association with the Osmania University. One important suggestion I would like to make is journalists who are wanting to venture into different branches opt for fact checking as their career because there is increasing opportunities not just regional wise but global and national wise. Second thing is you get to learn new skills, so you get to upgrade your profile, you get to upgrade yourself as a journalist, and the best part of it is you can continue as a journalist and a fact checker. So all the best. I wish you social media లో స్ప్రెడ్ అయ్యే ఫేక్ న్యూస్ అంటే తప్పుడు వార్తల్ని అబద్ధపు వార్తల్ని మనము చూసి అందరూ నమ్మే పొజిషన్ లో వచ్చేసాం. అందుకని దాన్ని కాంబాట్ చేయడానికి, దాన్ని ఫైట్ చేయడానికి ఒకళ్ళు కాదు ఇద్దరు కాదు చాలా మంది జర్నలిస్టులు తయారవ్వాలనేసి అందరూ ఫ్యాక్ట్ చెకింగ్ వాళ్ళ టీవీ ఛానల్స్ కి కానీ వాళ్ళ ఎక్కడైతే వర్క్ చేస్తున్నారో అక్కడికి తీసుకెళ్లాలని ఉస్మానియా యూనివర్సిటీ వాళ్ళు, యుఎస్ కాన్సులేట్ వాళ్ళు కలిపి చేస్తున్న ఈ ప్రయత్నంలో నేను కూడా భాగస్వామ్యం అయినందుకు నాకు చాలా సంతోషంగా ఉంది. వాళ్ళకి నేర్పించడమే కాదు, నేను కూడా చాలా నేర్చుకున్నానని చెప్పాలి. ఇట్స్ బెస్ట్ ఎక్స్పీరియన్స్ దట్ ఎవర్ హ్యాపెండ్.
40 మంది జర్నలిస్టులకి రెండు తెలుగు రాష్ట్రాల్లో ఫ్యాక్ట్ చెకింగ్ మీద శిక్షణ ఇవ్వడం జరిగింది. ముఖ్యంగా ఉడుమల సుధాకర్ రెడ్డి గారు, కరీనా గారు ఫ్యాక్ట్ చెకింగ్ మీద వాళ్ళు సర్టిఫైడ్ ఫ్యాక్ట్ చెకర్స్ కాబట్టి వాళ్ళు జాతీయ అంతర్జాతీయ టెక్నిక్స్ కొన్ని మన తెలుగు జర్నలిస్టులకి నేర్పారు. ఇంకొక ముఖ్యమైన విషయం ఏంటంటే ఇది ఫస్ట్ టైం తెలుగు జర్నలిస్టులకి ఇలాంటి శిక్షణ తరగతులు నిర్వహించడం. జనరల్ గా జర్నలిజం అనగానే జర్నలిజం చేయడం తర్వాత రిపోర్టింగ్ సబ్మింగ్ చేసుకుంటూ వెళ్ళిపోతారు, సీనియర్లు అవుతారు, పత్రికలు మారుతుంటారు. కానీ వాళ్ళ స్కిల్స్ పెంచుకోవడానికి ఒక ఆస్కారం ఉండదు. కానీ దానికి భిన్నంగా ఒక వరం లాగా ఈ మీడియాలో ఎక్కువ మిస్ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్, డిస్ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ పెరిగిన తర్వాత మనకి డిస్ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ చాలా ఫాస్ట్ గా జనంలోకి వెళ్తాం మొదలుపెట్టింది. ఇప్పుడు యాజ్ రిపోర్టర్ ట్రైన్ బ్యాచ్ అందరూ కూడా రిపోర్టర్స్ సీనియర్స్ ఉన్నారు చాలా మంది. సో వీళ్ళందరూ కూడా డైలీ రోజువారీగా జనాలతో కలుస్తూ ఉన్నారు. వాళ్ళు వెతుకుతున్న న్యూస్ కంటెంట్ చూస్తున్నారు, అంటే న్యూస్ కంటెంట్ కూడా జనరేట్ చేస్తూ ఉన్నారు. సో వీటిలో తెలిసి తెలియకుండానే కొంత మిస్ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ వెళ్తుంది, డిస్ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ కూడా వెళ్తుంది. సో ఇప్పుడు జరుగుతున్న ఈ ట్రైనింగ్ వల్ల 120 hours కంప్లీట్ చేస్తున్నారు. సో ఈ ట్రైనింగ్ వల్ల ఏంటంటే ఈ మిస్ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ ని, డిస్ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ ని కూడా మనం ఆపడానికి చాలా అవకాశం ఉంది. ఇప్పుడు నేర్చుకున్న టూల్స్ ఇవన్నీ కూడా 99% ఫిట్.
My name is Elena Devon. I'm the International Training Manager at the International Fact Checking Network, House at St. Petersburg, Florida. The IFCN helps train fact checkers around the globe, and off to be here in Hyderabad working with journalists so that we can help rich people in yet another language and yet another area.
And dynamic listen. ఫ్యాక్ట్ చెకింగ్ వర్క్షాప్ లో మీ ఎఫర్ట్ వండర్. మీ అవిశ్రాంత కృషి, మీ సీరియస్నెస్ మమ్మల్ని అన్ని క్లాసెస్ ని సీరియస్ గా అటెండ్ అయ్యేలా చేశాము. మీ ముందు సిన్సియర్ స్టూడెంట్స్ గా మమ్మల్ని నిలబెట్టింది. హ్యాట్స్ ఆఫ్ టు యు సర్. బాసుజీ నమస్తే జీ. యుఎస్ కాన్సులేట్ నుంచి తెలుగు జర్నలిస్టులను గుర్తించడం నిజంగా మా వరం. మీ సపోర్ట్ ని, మీ కమిట్మెంట్ ని గుర్తుపెట్టుకుంటాం. అసలు శిశువు ఫ్యాక్ట్ చెకర్స్ గా మీ పేరు ఇక సత్యప్రియ మ్యామ్ గురించి ఎంత చెప్పినా తక్కువ. ఈ మొత్తం ట్రైనింగ్ లో మా డౌట్స్ ని క్లారిఫై చేస్తూ, మా అల్లరిని భరిస్తూ, మాకు ఈజీగా అర్థమయ్యే ఫ్యాక్ట్ చెకింగ్ టూల్స్ ని నరేష్ నందన్ గారు ఎంత అందంగా, ఎంత అలవోకగా మనకి పరిచయం చేశారు. కొరిన టాప్ ఎక్స్పర్ట్స్ ని మాకు పరిచయం చేయడమే కాదు, మమ్మల్ని అందరినీ మోటివేట్ చేయడంలో మీరు సింప్లీ సూపర్. రాము సార్, మీ గురించి చెప్పుకోకుండా ఎట్లా? మమ్మల్ని ఓపికగా భరించి మాకు కావాల్సిన ఏర్పాట్లు చేసి అన్ని రకాల సౌకర్యాల్ని కల్పించిన మీకు ధన్యవాదాలు. లాస్ట్ బట్ నాట్ ద లీస్ట్, ఈ మొత్తం ప్రాజెక్ట్ లో తప్పుడు సమాచారం, తప్పుడు వార్తల నిజ నిర్ధారణ, ధృవీకరణ, వీటన్నిటికీ సంబంధించి అనేక టూల్స్ ని పరిచయం చేసిన గెస్ట్లు, కోఆర్డినేషన్ టీమ్, ఓయూ స్టూడెంట్స్, ఇలా ఎందరో మహానుభావులు. అందరికీ వందనాలు.
గుడ్ జాబ్, డోంట్ వరీ.
Finally, 120 hours successful గా కంప్లీట్ చేసుకున్నాం. సో యువర్ స్పోర్ట్స్ నైట్ అండ్ ఉస్మానియా యూనివర్సిటీ ఆధ్వర్యంలో దాదాపు 40 మంది ఫ్యాక్ట్ చెకర్స్ సక్సెస్ఫుల్ గా వాళ్ళ అనుభవాలను మనతో షేర్ చేసుకున్నారు. సో థ్యాంక్ యూ.
థ్యాంక్ యూ ఉమా. అందరూ గట్టిగా చప్పట్లు కొట్టాలి. 2 రోజుల నుంచి యాక్చువల్లీ షీ హాస్ బీన్ వర్కింగ్ ఫర్ ది లాస్ట్ 2 days. నా వాయిస్ ఇచ్చిన సూర్యకుమారి గారు, థ్యాంక్ యూ మేడం, థ్యాంక్స్ అలాట్. థ్యాంక్ యూ. ఒక క్షణము, ఇప్పుడు ఒకటే ఒక క్షణం ఏంటంటే ఒక 10 minutes వెయిట్ చేయండి. ఉస్మానియా యూనివర్సిటీ జర్నలిజం డిపార్ట్మెంట్ పిల్లలది చిన్న ప్రెజెంటేషన్ ఉంటుంది. ఇది అయిపోయిన తర్వాత నేను ఫార్మల్ గా ఓట్ ఆఫ్ థ్యాంక్స్. యాక్చువల్లీ ఉమా థ్యాంక్స్ లాట్, నా పని సగం పైగా మీరే పూర్తి చేశారు. థ్యాంక్ యూ వెరీ మచ్. మేఘా.
Before that, I want all of you give a standing ovation to Professor Stevenson, because
మేఘా. ఈ ప్రెజెంటేషన్ కాగానే ఒక క్షణం, ఒక 10 minutes పడుతుంది. నెక్స్ట్ 3 minutes లో మనం వెళ్ళిపోవచ్చు.
Hello. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm sorry, this is nothing related to our. It's not work. I'm sorry for holding you all back, but you guys are all our seniors. Where we want to go is where you guys already are. So we really need your help. My department, we are planning an event, a national level event next month. So this might say sponsorship proposal, which is of course very important. But apart from that also, ideas, suggestions, coming as guests for giving workshops are all appreciated. So there's a quick proposal. I'll just run you through what we are thinking, what our thoughts are. Our team members, we worked in the last 10 hours to come up with a small teaser and this proposal. So if there are any mistakes, please try to ignore them. Yeah, can we go to the next slide? So what is ekthema? Ekthema is the name of our event, of course, but it is a Greek word which means to exhibit. So we are planning to not just have a photography or a short film, but a culmination of journalism, photography, movie making, acting directors. So mass communication journalism lo వచ్చే ప్రతి field నుంచి caricatures వరకు poetry వరకు we are picking out everything and having competitions, workshops. So now today, next month we are trying to make Osmania University the stage where artists from across the country can come down and exhibit. Next slide. So these are the major events, photo exhibitions. So people who are interested in photography, we have a team they can send in. We'll have a big exhibition put up. Movie screening of all the short film competitions. Documentaries are also there. A lot of you all make documentaries and many more panel discussions like that. This is a teaser. Can you increase the volume? We'll play the video maybe at the end. Let's go to the next slide. Who's clapping there? Please stop. There's more. We didn't even get into it for 2 minutes. Hold on. Yeah. Next slide. Yeah, a lot of work was put into syncing the audio. I don't know why. So here are the few guests that we are planning to have. We are, in discussions with them to get them to our program. You guys, everybody knows the faces. Vishnu Manchu, Shekhar Kamala, and Professor Nageshwar, of course. Faria Abdullah. Yeah, Chitti. Mamadi Hare Krishna sir. For caricatures and cartoons. So we are trying to pick the best we have to come down to OU to give workshops, to come as guests for competitions, and ultimately be the stars of the show so that we can get the crowd in. So this is the glimpse of Thaksh. This is the recent event which we have had in our department. This was done with no sponsorship help, no help from anybody. This was just purely done by around 20 to 30 students. So if you think we can pull such an event out, then if we get the right sponsorship and right direction and help, we can do something really huge for our college. A lot of you are alumnus of, Osmania University, which is a prestigious place. So, yeah. So why should you associate with us? You can read it. I can't see. Yes, so why should you associate with us? The fest, as you know, anybody OU ante, there'll be crowd. So if you have a brand that you want to showcase, you can quickly come in for us and give a sponsorship amount, and then you can have your logo on major posters of ours. Whatever screen that we're going to have on stage will have your logos there. You guys are our seniors, you know what it means. So we'll just run it through quickly. Go to the next slide. So we'll be having flash mobs across the city. We are trying to send invitations to all the colleges, 22 colleges in Hyderabad which have journalism and mass communication, and all the colleges in the country, you name it, FTI, Pondicherry, we are sending the invitations there as well. So if you want to come down, give a presentation as well, you can at a point we'll have 400 people to interact. So if you have a brand that you can come up with a stall, you can sit there, you can interact. So all of you are in the field of journalism and mass communication, and students which are going to be there are all future, staff. You could just pick the next best journalist or next best actor there. So if you are there, you will have the exposure, you'll get a chance to pick people out. So I think this is one of the major reasons why I believe you need to associate with us.
Thank you. Thank you, Megha. Well done.
Sorry, sir.
Sriram sir, you already put coverage, assured coverage.
Yeah, thanks a lot. We have to thank certain people who made this possible. Give me a minute. I'm going to complete this. Yesterday, two people did wonderful anchoring. One, Megha and Jeevana. Please give them a big round of applause. And the students of journalism department, వాళ్ళు ఫోటోలు తీస్తూ వీడియోలు తీస్తూ ఉన్నారు. సంతోష్ అండ్ టీమ్. సంతోష్, గ్రేట్ జాబ్. ఈ రోజు మీడియా అంతా ఈ ఫోటోసే క్యారీ చేసి. సంతోష్ ఒకసారి నిలబడినాను. ఈ సంతోష్, వెంటనే సంతోష్. థ్యాంక్స్ అలాట్. ఈ జర్నలిజం డిపార్ట్మెంట్ పిల్లలందరికీ థ్యాంక్ యూ వెరీ మచ్. ఇంకొకటి, ఇవి మీ అకౌంట్స్ అన్ని చూస్తూ కాస్త మీకు ఇవి వచ్చే ఏర్పాటు చేస్తున్న రవి నిలబడి. రవికి థ్యాంక్స్ అలాట్. అండ్ రోజు 4 o'clock కాగానే ఏమండి క్లాస్ స్టార్ట్ అయిందండి, చందు చెయ్యొద్దు బాబు, చందు. ఎప్పుడు మనం ఇక్కడ ఆఫ్లైన్ క్లాసెస్ పెట్టినా కూడా సైలెంట్ గా సార్ వెనకే ఉండి పనిచేస్తున్న కిరణ్, వీళ్ళు కాక యుఎస్ కాన్సులేట్ నుంచి వచ్చిన థ్యాంక్స్ ఎలెనా, యూ డిడ్ ఎ గ్రేట్ జాబ్. అవర్ పీపుల్ గాట్ లాట్ ఆఫ్ విజ్డమ్ అండ్ థ్యాంక్స్ అ లాట్ ఫర్ దిస్. ఆ తర్వాత ఈ మొత్తం ప్రాజెక్ట్ కి సంబంధించి ఒక 5 మనుషులు ఉన్నారు దీని వెనుక మొత్తం. ఫస్ట్ అండ్ ఫార్మోస్ట్ ఉడుమల సుధాకర్ రెడ్డి గారు, లీడ్ ట్రైనర్. ఆయన ఈ మొత్తానికి హృదయం లాంటి వాడు. చాలా చాలా కష్టపడ్డారు. బ్రదర్, యూ డిడ్ ఎ గ్రేట్ జాబ్. థ్యాంక్స్ అ లాట్. 2 ట్రైనర్స్, మన ట్రైనర్స్ ఉన్నారు. మేడం పద్మప్రియ గారు ప్లస్ నరేష్ నందం. సారీ, సత్యప్రియ, ఎప్పుడు ఈ పేరు తప్పు చెప్తారు. సత్యప్రియ గారు, నరేష్ నందం. థ్యాంక్ యూ వెరీ మచ్ అండి. అట్లనే ఈ ప్రాజెక్ట్ లో 3 భాగస్వాములం. నేను, సుధాకర్ రెడ్డి గారు, కరీనా మేడం, నేను. మా ఇద్దరికి కూడా మీరు చప్పట్లు కొడితే బాగుంటుంది. ఆ తర్వాత యుఎస్ కాన్సులేట్ చాలా కీలకమైన రోలు. మాతో పాటు చాలా చాలా కష్టపడి తెర వెనుక డిష్యూ చేసుకున్నా సరే ఒక రకంగా స్మూత్ గా నడిపించుకుంటూ తీసుకెళ్ళిన బాసిత్ భాయ్, థ్యాంక్స్ అ లాట్. థ్యాంక్ యూ. అండ్ ఐ థింక్ యు ఆర్ ఇంప్రెస్డ్ బై ద వర్క్ ఆఫ్ అవర్ స్టూడెంట్స్. We don't mind taking 2 or 3 such courses. You are welcome. Please allocate such kind of training programs for Osmania University. We are there to do with more experience. Thanks a lot. వీళ్ళందరికన్నా మ్యాన్ ఆఫ్ ది మ్యాచ్ విరాట్ కోహ్లీ. ఎవరు? ప్రొఫెసర్ స్టీవెన్సన్ సార్. You did a great job. వారు మమ్మల్ని అందరినీ మోటివేట్ చేస్తూ చెప్పారు. అలాంటి సార్ హెడ్ గా ఉన్నప్పుడు ఈ ప్రోగ్రామ్ జరగడం చాలా మంచి విషయం, చాలా అద్భుతమైన విషయం. థ్యాంక్ యూ వెరీ మచ్. అండ్ ఉస్మానియా యూనివర్సిటీ అసిస్టెంట్ పిఆర్ఓ ఉన్నారు. వారు మనకి కవరేజ్ తీసుకొచ్చారు, రఘు వాళ్ళ టీము. రైట్ ఫ్రెండ్స్, థ్యాంక్స్ అలాట్. ఈ మిత్రులు కూడా పాపం చాలా చేశారు మనకి. సాదిక్ బాయ్ ఉన్నాడు ఇక్కడ. థ్యాంక్ యూ, థ్యాంక్స్ అలాట్. థ్యాంక్ యూ. భోజనం బెస్ట్ ఎంటర్టైనర్ బోయా వెంకటేశ్వర్ల గారికి బెస్ట్.